Hi, my name is Samantha Woj, but I go by Samantha Woj in my art practice. I'm a physically disabled Canadian artist born in Montreal, Quebec. As I mentioned earlier, I have a physical disability. I was born with a congenital disorder called ectrodactyly. Basically, I was born missing fingers and toes. So originally, I was only born with one finger on each hand. When I was younger, we had surgery where I had these two, which were toes, transferred to my hands. This gave me a great opportunity to really figure out and manipulate things and hold on to things that would have been otherwise more difficult to do with only one finger on each hand. And it really has given me the opportunity to adapt and do things on my own, especially art. Now, one of my biggest passions, I would say, is making art, especially in painting. As you can see, I have some of my artworks here. As for my art practice, I started when I was 12 years old. I really discovered it when when a friend of the family decided to start an after-school program, and I decided to join and just check it out. And ever since then, I've been really into the arts and developing my skills. In high school, I decided to take evening courses where I really developed on painting, either in acrylic or oil paint. And then I continued my passion for art into college, where I got a degree in visual arts and really got to learn about all the arts, whether it be sculpture, painting, clay, printmaking, all of them. I kind of really got to learn and expand my knowledge and my abilities, and then continued my education into university, where I also got to learn a lot more about my art and build on my practice. Now, unfortunately, while I got to learn so much, I never really had a theme or style. And it could be really hard, I'd say, to find a style that you like. And I'd say keep trying. An advice I would say is push your limits, get out of your comfort zone. You never know what will ignite a new interest or will develop something that you're like, yes, I want to do this. So really try different things is one of my biggest suggestions when you're making art, because you never know where inspiration may strike. For me, it was my sports. I played soccer since I was 5 years old, and there's no word that can describe that feeling you get when you're playing with others or you're playing a sport that makes you physically active and also gets you excited. And I really enjoyed it. And when I stopped playing, I got more into my art and I kind of forgot about my love for it. So last summer, I decided, hey, why not use one of the old soccer balls that I had lying around the house, combine my two favorite interests together. And so I kind of got the inspiration, I'd say, from printmaking that I had in school, where I got to see when I created a print of a mark, how I saw the edges and the shapes and designs appear on the paper. And I thought, why not see what these kind of marks that I didn't create but are already created for me and roll it onto a canvas. And I loved it. I love seeing the texture. I love seeing the shapes it created. That's what really got me into this new style, was really exploring with this soccer ball that I know doesn't look like a soccer ball, but it was a decent blue colored ball, I think. It's just covered in black paint from all the black paint I've been using. But that really started my passion for this kind of theme that I go with, where I roll material like a soccer ball onto a canvas or onto a paper and see the marks it made. And I continued this passion throughout the summer, and I realized, hey, the Olympics are coming up. Why not encourage athletes that are going abroad and support them by painting them with material I've already been practicing with? And it really took off. Now, I didn't have a lot, I'd say, of material because I only played a few sports. I had a soccer ball, I had a basketball and some skates from when I was young and I played sports, and thought I would use them to kind of create their portraits, like I did with this one with a baseball. And I didn't know what would happen. I honestly was doing this purely for my enjoyment, and I realized others liked it. And I'd say that's one of my advices for anybody who wants to share their art, is to record, because I think sharing the images are great, but showing your process is so important, because people get to see what you think and how you do it, and it just gets them more interested. And I find videos are very popular nowadays online, And so if you want to build your practice up, I'd say something you should do, it would be to create videos of process, or at least parts of your work, and share it with them so that they see how much work you put into it. Because if I learned anything from posting art, is nobody knows how much work you put into it. They just see the final result. And showing the process can sometimes be like, wow, this can take a long time, or this is wow how they approached it. And it can be very interesting to other people to see. Also to like cater to the audience of like, who are you posting to, right? So for me, I originally, during the first summer Olympics and then also the summer Paralympics, I was just tagging the athletes and kind of sharing it, and it worked well. I got kind of feedback, but I'd say it was more in the Winter Olympics that my art took off, where I was getting interviews from the Toronto Star, Toronto Sun, or CTV News, and just even the French network in Quebec, where it's called RDI, where they asked to come and talk to me and just ask me about my newfound advices, because I was tagging also the sponsors of some of these athletes, tagging them, hashtagging stuff, and by including them in a post, it got to more people, because sometimes the sponsors would comment or sponsors would share, and it really helped my art get out there and get more notice. And I think it's really important to share your art and get it to the audience that you know might like it, or do some research of who would be interested in this, who are they following, and then follow them or see how other artists are working, because I have had no experience of that before. I didn't know much going into this. This was just a hobby I was doing in the summer. And now that I'm really thinking of it as a business, you really have to think strategically of, okay, I want this as a business, then who should I get this message out to? Who should I be following? Who should see this, right? So that's a really important step of creating a business with your art, is to think, who do you want your art to? Who do you want it to be seen by? And yeah, so it all started, it's funny to think that it all started with a soccer ball, and now I've painted with a whole bunch of material that I have over here, from basketball to skates to footballs to rugby balls to skis here, to hockey puck and hockey sticks and baseball that I did on painting here, you know. And I keep growing, I keep developing my artistic talents, and seeing where it can take me, and seeing what I can do with each material. And as I learn and as I grow, I'm sharing it with everyone. I'm sharing, hey, this is what I did with this ball, or this is what I did with this equipment, you know. And by building it, I'm learning and developing my skills, while also building my practice and building my business to get to more people. And I think that's really important, is to see how you can reach more people, and what kind of sticks with everybody. What did you paint once that everybody liked, and how did you do it, and how did you film it, and how did you take a picture of it? Did you take a picture with you with it, you know, like to get that information. And when you're posting it, making art, it's really important to figure out how you want to show your art. Are you doing it just for fun, or are you trying to make a profit off of it? And I know from experience how hard it is to make money off of art. I mean, it's really difficult to get people to spend, or it can even be a shy experience for you to be like, hey, this is a cost for my art. And I think some advice I got really early on, when I started really trying to figure out the business aspect for this artwork, I would say, is to price your art based on the amount of work you put into it. So somebody mentioned once to me how you should base it off of a salary, off of a minimum wage job, compared to how many hours you put into the work, and also how much it costs to get the material that you use. And based on that price, that's how you can start figuring out the prices to begin your business. And I know you may want to give things for free, or you may kind of hesitate to ask for pricing. And I'd say, when you're trying to build a business, to really evaluate your decisions around working with people, because I have worked with groups where I've worked with Sobeys, and I have done stuff with the Paralympic community, and I've also had people share it for free, and you can kind of see the difference. And I think it's really important to evaluate, mostly for your opinion on how you want to show your art or how to get it out there. I've done both, and I find both are equally beneficial. It's just really important to choose who you work with. And I think it's really important to figure out what message you're trying to share with your artwork, because I have worked on both sides, where I've given art, I've made art for free, And I've had other ones where I've had people pay me for art. So right, like I did once I worked with Sobeys where their monetary value was through a gift card, but I created their logo. And that was purely through the Paralympics when I was painting, and I tagged them in one of my posts, and then they shared it, and I commented, hey, it would be great to draw your logo. And then they commented back, yeah, like it would be great. So then I commented, they wrote me and they sent me a gift card, and it was a great interaction. Another one was Lululemon, where they shared another one of my artworks that I knew they were sponsoring one of the athletes. And then again, I said, hey, it'd be great to have some clothes, you know, like when I'm painting. And they sent me clothes, and I kind of created that deal there. So it's really to get out of your shell and try things, because you never know what will happen unless you try. I failed so many times, right? Like some of my interactions, some of my posts, they don't go anywhere. And it's to be accepting that not everything's gonna become super popular. Not everything's gonna be accepted, right? And I have made a lot of the artworks, and I've made so many, and only a few take off, and I never know what will take off. And another advice I would give would be to also post on different platforms, because you never know who will see it. I've had some interactions on Instagram, some on Facebook, some on Twitter, some on TikTok, and it really depends where you post and who you tag, because some of the people on those pages will, they will prefer some artworks over others, and you never know what they will like. And I do say post on as many platforms you can, or as many feeds as you can, so that when you share your art, you're able to get your messages out. Because some of my interactions started on Instagram, some of them started on Twitter, some of them started on TikTok, where I had NHL posted on TikTok, but they didn't post it on Twitter or Instagram. So by having different mediums, you'll have different reach with different interactions with different people, and it helps you get your art across. It helps you market your value, market your work, and figure out what you want to do with it. I've also had amazing interactions from the Olympics and Paralympics, where some Olympians that shared it include Natalie Spooner, Jake Thiel, John Morris, Jennifer Jones, Miguel Kingsbury, that commented or liked my posts, and Paralympians including Brittany Hudak, Garrett Riley, Billy Bridges, Liam Hickey. I mean, I also even had Summer Olympians when I was first started posting, as big as Stephanie Labbé and Christine St. Clair, which was amazing. She posted it on TikTok at one point. So, you know, like it's getting your name out there. You never know who's gonna post it. I mean, I had other athletes like Candace Parker share it in her story on Instagram, which was another interaction that I had, right? And I've also had accounts share, like NHL from TikTok. So some other advice I would give is post consistently. I know it's really hard to do, but I do find it's really beneficial to figure out what you want to post, or at least figure out the days you want to post something, so that people can stay interested. Because when I personally stopped posting consistently, I realized I didn't get as much engagement in my post, or as much engagement with my art. So when you have art, or you have a choice of what you want to do, when you post consistently, people will stay interested, or you'll gain more people to be interested and follow you and look forward to your post. And that may help you kind of build your platform and build your art practice, so that when you apply for anything in the art field, whether it be an exhibition or an art application, you know, if you keep posting, they will see what you're doing, they will see how you're evolving, and I think that's going to be also very beneficial. Another advice I'd have is, when you do share it, make sure to write if it's available for purchase or not, because if you're just posting it to post it, people may not know that it's available to be bought. So always, when you're writing it in the description, say available for purchase, and you can say contact or write the price, whatever you want, but writing that it's available or that it's sold can tell people, hey, they are open to commissions, or are open to selling, you know. And it's to figure that out in your practice of when you're posting something. Are you posting it just to show people, or are you posting it because it's going to be available to be purchased, whether in general or at a center? Like I once did something called What the Pop in 2021, where it was an outdoor exhibition, and I was letting people know, hey, I will be having these artworks for sale on this day at this time at What the Pop, and I wrote the location, And that kind of helped build my business of like saying, hey, people can come see me, people can come talk to me, people will know where I am. So if they have any questions and don't want to email me, they can come check me out and see me in person. So I think that's also really important, is to build that kind of connection with others, finding places you can be, letting people know where you will be so that they can kind of follow you as you grow and as you develop your business, and they can contact you if they want. Also, another thing when I was starting this business, I'd say, is to create a website. It's really important to have at least a website that when people are interested, they can find you, or you can direct them to see your kind of catalog, to see what you're doing, so that they can see more of your artwork and find ways to contact you, and if they're interested, to get more info about you. And I think that's been really helpful. At least by the Winter Olympics, I had a website running so that people can look at me and see what I'm doing and see what I've done in the past. I think it's also really important how you market your art and how you price it and the interactions you get, because some people will just, you think will be great, but it won't, and you never know, and there's gonna be a lot of trial and error. But it's to keep your belief that there is price in your art. And I know there's a lot of negative interactions and it's going to be challenging, but if you keep trying and you keep working at it, you will see results. And I'm still in the process of it. I'm still figuring out what I want, what I'm doing with my art and how I'm marketing it, and also your values of what's important to you, right? I mean, I just recently worked with Can Fund, a foundation here in Canada that supports Paralympians and Olympians and athletes in general who are trying to get to the Olympics and Paralympics. And I donated 6 artworks and we raised $4,000 to support athletes. Now, did I make money off of that? Not really, but I was able to get my name out there. I was able to support a foundation that's really important to me. So there's really that balance of like, okay, I know I'm not gonna make money, but I'm also supporting somebody I want to care about. I'm working with them. I can show I'm working with people and maybe build that relationship and show other people, hey, I've worked with foundations, I've raised this money, like to really build your rapport. And when somebody contacts you, is it beneficial for you? Is it helpful for you? Or is it just helping them? And it's really difficult and it's really kind of challenging to figure that out as a new artist. And I mean, there will be errors, there will be good, there will be bad, but it's to figure out, okay, what am I willing to take a risk on? What do I not want to take a risk on? And I think in an art world, it's hard to figure out what's right and wrong. And sometimes even just looking up their websites and looking up who's contacting you, seeing people's past interactions with them, seeing if it helped them, if it didn't. That's what also helped me understand some places when they contact me, they're saying, people online were saying, no, not helpful, just helpful for them. And I'd be like, okay, if it didn't help anybody else, why would it help me? Right? So it's really to figure out what was helpful, what can be helpful. So that also helped me with my brand and helped me build and develop my skills. So it's really to evaluate when somebody contacts you, what are they trying to give you and what is it giving your worth? What is it giving to you? Is there any worth in it? I also just worked with the Paralympics where I created an artwork for the women's para ice hockey competition that's happening in the States, where they shared it and they created an article for me. So was that monetary? No. But I at least got my name on a website. I got an article about me, which can help me build my portfolio. So that's really important to figure out. So I worked with the Great Lakes Adaptive Sports Association, who paid me for 2 artworks, and that they were gonna put those artworks up for auction and kind of get my name out there. And they were letting me kind of do that, knowing farewell that they were going to use it, but that I was going to make money off of it. So it's to figure out that balance of like, hey, okay, yes, I know you want my artwork for like a donation or for something you want to support, but also like I want some kind of revenue so that I'm not doing everything for free. And they didn't have a problem. So it's really to kind of hold yourself there and saying like, hey, I don't mind supporting you, but I also need some money so I can keep making art, because we want to keep making art. We need to make it profitable so that you can keep doing what you love. I love doing this. I love exploring what I can do. So this is a commission I did with a football for a client. And it was basically because they found one of my interviews that I did. And I think it's really important to get your message out there, and it can take a lot of work. I'm not gonna lie, it's not gonna be an easy process. It takes many hours of working the computer, of figuring out who to tag, it's gonna take a lot of work, and it's not easy. Art is unfortunately I feel like it's really difficult to get people interested, or at least to market. So I need to figure out a way to make it financially stable. And I mean, I'm not saying I have a perfect ABC plan as of yet of how to keep those plans, but I just know you got to keep your prices and not kind of give in to everybody, because if you keep giving exceptions to everyone, you're not gonna be the one who's winning. Everybody else is gonna be winning. So it's really to figure out what you're okay with and how you want to grow your business and who you're talking with. The CBC Paralympics posted. I had Paralympics, I had Olympics post my artwork, because I tag them in the post, right? Like if you tag people enough that they will see and be like, oh, who's tagging me? What is this? And then they'll evaluate, is it good for a brand? Okay, why not, right? And then I had American brands like Highlight Her and VR Open Ice that shared some of my artworks to their audience, which are other kind of groups on it. Mostly on Instagram and Twitter, they shared it, and that got my artwork to more audience. So I think it's really important to be aware of what your artworks are, and sharing it and seeing who posts about art. And for me, like, who posts about sports, and what are some big names in sport, and what are some sponsorships in sports, and who's sponsoring who, and figuring out that kind of world. And it takes a lot of time, I know, but I think it's really beneficial. Right now, I'm currently working with Spinal Cord Injury Ontario, where I sent an artwork and they're gonna be putting it into a calendar, and they're gonna be raising money. So that was pretty great interaction that I had recently, where I had to sign a contract and we did the paperwork, and that was, I mean, I think that was pretty awesome to have. I don't know when it's coming out yet, but I'm going to be posting it, and I feel like that's what's in the works right now for me, is working with that association and kind of getting my name out there. So some advice for making art kind of a business is to kind of extend what you create into other mediums, whether it be prints, stickers, clothing like mine that I have, that one day I'll put on my website to sell, and to push your limits. See what material would interest people, see what you like, and see how you can see your art in another way, because not everybody will be able to afford a painting, right? Paintings can be expensive and it can be hard to sell, but sometimes if you create prints or stickers or sweaters or water bottles with your artwork, people may be more inclined to buy those things because it's more affordable for them. And at the same time, depending on where you go and where you try to build your business, whether it be at a store to create the prints or another business to print them onto sweaters, to figure out a way where you can make some profit, may be also equally beneficial for you too. It brings me up to my second point, which is to build connections. I think it's really important to make friends. You may be surprised by what they offer or what they are willing to help you with. So yeah, some advice: keep making friends, talk about your art, and connect with others. If there's one thing that I've learned throughout this whole process of being an artist, is you have to do art for yourself. You have to make it for yourself, because the second you start doing it for others, you lose joy. You don't have as much joy as making it. So if you want to be an artist, or if you are an artist, I hope you do it purely for the love that you have for it, because people will try to change your ideas. People will say, hey, can you do this for me? I'm sure you may do it for the price or for a friend or a family or something, but if the second you keep changing your idea or keep changing your field, you have to ask yourself if you're truly happy in what you're doing, and really figure out if it is beneficial for you to keep doing that. And are you in love with art? Are you doing it for the love? Because I do this purely for my joy. I try to find ways that I can get excited about my art, even if I keep doing the same thing or if I'm trying new things, it's what is exciting about it? What is making me excited? And I think every time I go into a new project, the way I look at it is like, hey, I have a blank canvas and I can create something from it. I can develop and build an idea that nobody else had, or at least find my own spin on it. So when I'm creating, I'm constantly going for that drive. I'm constantly going for that itch of like, what am I going to create from nothing? What am I going to create that comes out of my head? I get excited from that. I get excited with the material. Like I said, soccer ball. I get really excited about these things, and finding that joy to consistently go and create is really important. So you don't just get stuck and you're like, okay, I'm just doing this and I have to do it. But no, I want you to be excited about what you do, because it's not worth it. It's not worth not being happy about what you do. It's not worth doing something for somebody else if it doesn't bring you joy. Yeah. One thing I will never say about myself, unless I got a master's degree, that I'm a master at anything or an expert. I feel like I'm learning and constantly evolving. Like I'll never say I am like the best at painting a baseball, because I don't know what other people can do, right? I am the best I can be right now, but I am striving to be the best I will be, the best I will be in the future. And I can't say football like, oh, I'm the best. I am constantly learning and evolving, because the second I say, hey, I'm the best, I feel like I've reached a point where I don't know if I can get any better. And I'm always wanting to be better at whatever I do. And that's another reason I never get bored with anything, right? It's to find what drives you, what interests you. And for me, it's how can I get better? What can I do to push my limits? What can I do to ignite this flame that I have for art? What can scratch that itch to create something new, to use a blank canvas and create something from nothing? That is what brings me joy. I don't know what you use to get excited, but I do hope whatever you do when you're making art is you do it for you, because that is the most important step in anything. And I say for art because I'm an artist, but to do stuff that you enjoy, do things that you love, because it's not worth it if you're doing it for somebody else. Life is too short for that. Life is too short to give in all the time to everybody else. And you deserve joy. You deserve happiness. You deserve this excitement in your life when you're creating art, or at least that's what I get, is this excitement, this really exciting feeling of creating something, of this passion, of this energy that I get. And I hope you get that too. And if you don't, I hope you find it. I hope you explore your abilities and keep learning. And if you fail, it's okay. Failure means you're one step closer to reaching your interest, right? I'm never going to say my first thing I ever did was the best, right? I think we learn through process. We learn as we grow, and failure teaches us that, right? We learn from our mistakes. We learn from what we can't do. I think there's an important difference between I'm not good and I don't like this. Because we cannot be good at something, but we can enjoy it. And it's like riding a bicycle, right? Or drawing for the very first time. It's the first time you drew anything. It's never gonna be good, right? We're gonna be like, okay, this works, this looks nice. But the more you practice at it, the more you develop your skills, it will get better. It will be better. And I think that's what I take with me, is like, okay, it may not be good now, but who knows in the future? Who knows what I can or I can't do? And unless it's like, hey, I really don't like this. Well, then no problem. You learned you don't like this way. Let's find a new way. Let's see what can be interesting to you that can ignite this like energy, this flame within you to do something you love. And I think it's really important to see failure as an opportunity to learn, as an opportunity to gain knowledge, to improve, to develop your skills in something that interests you. Nothing is easy in art, so it's very important to go into it not expecting anything. Go into it with hopes and plans and wishes and dreams. But if you start expecting things, you might get disappointed. And I'm constantly grateful for all the opportunities I've gotten. I'm constantly surprised by everything that happens and everything that is happening for my art. I am forever grateful, forever thankful for even this opportunity here, to have this opportunity. To whoever's listening to me, I am incredibly grateful for this. It means a lot, and I'm sorry for the video if it's long. I do hope you enjoy it. So yeah, thank you for listening to me today. I hope I was helpful, and I hope you have a good day. Bye.